Set 1. Quads complete the square and sketch. Sketch the following graphs, include ending coordinates of x-intercepts, y-intercepts, that's both the axes intercepts, and also the apex of the turning point of the curve. Alright, so it says complete the square and. So first thing we're going to do is complete the square. So x minus 2, all squared, take away 4, take away 3, is take away 7. That's what y is. When y is 0, we've got 7 is equal to x minus 2 all squared. So x is equal to 2 plus or minus square root of 7. When y is 0, when x is 0, y is equal to 3. We can see that here, look. And the apex is, change the sign of this one, leave that one alone. So 2, 7. It's a U-shaped graph because we've got positive x squared. And so if we have a lovely looking sketch of axes, label the x, label the y, always nice to see the origin. And we've got 0 minus 3, and we've got x equals 2 is our line of symmetry. Root 7 is a bit bigger than 2, so our graph is going to do something like that. Yeah, doesn't have to be the world's best drawing, mine certainly isn't. 2 minus 7 is the apex. He says, and I realised that I've written it wrongly there. Change the sign of this one, leave that one alone. 0, minus 3 is the y-intercept. 2 minus root 7, 0 is that coordinate, and this coordinate is 2 plus root 7, 0. And we've got all 4 points. The graph's the right way up, axes labelled, and we've even put in an extra little bit. X equals 2 is our line of symmetry. Let's see what we do here then. X minus 4 all squared. Take away 16, add 11, is take away 5. Y is 0 equals that, which means that x equals 4 plus or minus root 5. When y is 0, when x is 0, y is 11. Put 0 in there and there, both 0. When x is 0, y is that 11 that's left. And the apex is, change the sign of that one, leave that one alone. And when we draw our lovely looking graph, label the x-axis, label the y-axis, we want 4, which is going to be on the x-axis, so that's x equals 4. We want to go plus or minus root 5, which is, well, a bit more than 2. So that one there, that one here. 11 is going to be somewhere around there, and the apex is 4 minus 5. I did the same mistake as before. Right, so when we put our graph in, this is 4, minus 5. This is 4 plus root 5, 0. This is 4 minus root 5, 0. This is 0, 11. And we've even labelled the line of symmetry. Put 0 and 0 in, x and y axes. This one, 5 bracket x squared minus 3/5 x, take away 4/5, and that becomes 5 x minus 3/10. So we have this number put inside the bracket with the x, square it, square this number, take it away outside the bracket, and make this one hundredths as well. So times that by 20 times the top by 20, so 80 over 100. Times everything by 5 after we put those two fractions together. So y we could write as 5 x minus 3/10 squared, take away 89 over 100, but the 5 and the 100 cancel to leave 89 over 20. So y is 0, x is, move that over, if that's 0, move that over there, divide by 5 is 89 over 100. Square root it is root 89 over 10, and then add 3/10. So 3/10 plus or minus square root of 89 over 10, which is 9 and a bit over 10. X is 0, this is 0, this is 0, y is minus 4. And the apex is, leave that number alone, but change the sign, leave this number alone, keep the sign. So apex is 3/10, comma, minus, remembered it this time, 89/20. So draw a lovely graph. 3/10 is our line of symmetry, so why not label it while we're at it. Minus 89/20. The y-intercept is negative, so it's going to do something like that. Let's label our axes. 0 and 0. This is 3/10. Take away root 89 over 10, comma 0. This is 3/10 plus root 89 over 10, comma 0. And this point is 3/10, comma, minus 89 root, no, just minus 89 over 20. Alright? And we didn't label that one yet, and that's 0, comma, minus 4. We label those 4, we label these 4, we've got our line of symmetry in. Hunky dory. Take the factor of 6 out, y is 6, x squared minus 8 over 6, which is 4 over 3, x plus a sixth, and that's equal to 6 square, complete square inside the bracket, so halve this number, put inside the bracket with x, square this number, take it away outside the bracket, make this into 9ths if we can, which means making this into 36 by 16 over 36, add 6 over 36, put them together, we've got minus 10 over 36, and then multiply everything by 6, equals 6, x minus 2/3 squared, take away 10 over 6, which is 5 over 3, that'll do. So that's what y is. At y equals 0, x is equal to, take the 5 over 3 over, divide by 6, gives us 10 over 36, square root it, and add the 2/3. So 2/3 plus or minus square root of 10 over 6. And x equals 0, y is equal to 1, because if that's 0, the whole term's 0, this whole term's 0, and we're left with 1. And the apex is when we keep the number, change the sign, so 2/3, and we leave this one alone, so minus 5/3. And our graph, when we sketch, x-axis, y-axis, 0 and 0, x equals 2/3 is our line of symmetry. Think about putting that in. X equals 2/3. 2/3 plus root 10 over 6, and 2/3 minus root 10 over 6, and the y-intercept is 1. So we're going to do something like that. It's a little bit of a flat U-shape, but hey, we got the general shape right. We've got all our points in the right place. 2/3 plus root 10 over 6, comma 0. 2/3 minus root 10 over 6, comma 0. That's that one there, and this one here is 0, comma 1. We've labelled all our 4 points. We've even labelled our line of symmetry. We've done way move on, 3 left. Okay, so this is equal to 3x squared minus 4/3 x, take away 8/3. Complete the square inside the square bracket, leave the 3 on the outside, x minus 2/3. So we have that number in the bracket, square it, take it away, but we square it first, make this into 9ths, is 24/9. Put these two fractions together, multiply by everything by 3. So we've got 3x minus 2/3 squared, take away 28 over 3. So apex is, change the sign, leave this one alone, minus 28 over 3. Minus 9 1/3 if you want. X is 0, y is minus 8. I think we've got the hang of that now. Put x is 0 in here and here. This term is 0, this term is 0, we're left with minus 8. And when y is 0, x is equal to So naught would be there, add the 28 over 3, divide by 3, square root it, which is 2 root 7 over 3. We're going to plus and minus that, and then add the 2/3. So where's our graph? Draw a lovely graph, x-axis, y-axis, naught and naught. 2/3 is again the line of symmetry, so x is equal to 2/3. We want a y-intercept which is negative, and our graph looks something like that. The apex is 2/3, minus 28/3, so that's quite far down, and it needs to be lower than minus 8, not minus 8. This point is 2/3, take away 2 root 7 over 3, naught, because this is x equals 2/3, we've gone that way, we go the same distance that way, we add 2/3, add 2 root 7 over 3, naught. We've got all our points in, 1, 2, 3, 4, we've even got line of symmetry and label the axes, and the graph is the right way around. This one is a negative x squared, so it ain't going to be a U shape, it's going to be an upside down U shape, same as this one. So be careful of that. Yeah, my trick is normally to miss the minus, but hey, you won't do that. Minus x squared minus 4x minus 1. So as we've done here, where the coefficient of x squared was not 1, we took that outside the bracket, and we divided everything inside the bracket by the number which was outside. Or we divided those two other terms by the 3 that was there, look. So we've taken minus outside the bracket, divided this by minus 1, divided that by minus 1, which changes the signs. Complete the square inside the bracket, x minus 2. Half this number put inside the bracket, square it, take away outside the bracket, take away the 1 as well, is that, and then get rid of this bracket by multiplying everything by minus 1. So y is minus x minus 2 all squared, add 5, and so the apex is, change that sign, leave the number, leave this one alone. X is naught, this is naught, this is naught, y is 1. And when y is naught, we make this one naught, we take away the 5, we times by minus 1, becomes plus 5, square root it, and add the 2. So x equals 2 plus or minus square root of 5. And that lovely, lovely graph is going to look like this, x-axis, y-axis, naught and naught. Line of symmetry, x is 2. The graph is going to do this and goes through 0, 1 look. So it's going to cross the x-axis negative, come up to the apex, come back down, and go back through the x-axis. X is positive. So this point is 0,1. This point is 2 minus root 5, 0. This one is 2 plus root 5, 0. So we start there, look, we go minus root 5, and we go plus root 5 from x is 2. And the apex is 2, 5. Look, that one. Happy? Good. Do the same here. Equals minus x squared plus 5x minus 1. That's equal to minus x plus 5 over 2. Half that number put inside the bracket, square it, take it away out, but square it first. 25 over 4. Make this into quarters, there's minus 4 of them. Put those two together, negate everything inside the bracket to get rid of the bracket. X plus 5 over 2 squared, add 29 over 4. And that's what y is, so the apex is. Change the sign, keep the number, leave the sign alone. So minus 5 over 2, 29 over 4. And we cross the y-axis, so x is 1. And the apex is minus 5 over 2. So when we draw our lovely, lovely graph, minus 5 over 2 is here. The graph is going to come up around here somewhere and go through 1, and of course the x-axis is positive, and it's going to go down there. So it's going to go down there and down there. This is 0, 1. When x is 0, y is 0 and 0 and 1. So y is 1. And when x is 0, sorry, y is 0, we just did x is 0. When y is 0, that becomes a 0. Take away the 29 over 4, change the sign, plus 29 over 4, take the square root, and then take away 5 over 2. X equals minus 5 over 2, plus or minus square root of 29 over the square root of 4, which is 2. So this x value here is minus 5 over 2, take away root 29 over 2, comma 0. This one here is minus 5 over 2, plus root 29 over 2, comma 0, and that apex is minus 5 over 2, comma 29 over 4. Put the 0, 0 in, put the y-axis and the x-axis, and we're done.